Haworth's newest chair, the Zody Luxe, was so comfortable the first time I tried it, I thought this could be my #1 pick for a new chair when it was finally released. My first opportunity to try it was back in June of 2022 at the nation's largest office furniture trade show, NeoCon. But sometimes trying products at a trade show can be a bit deceiving. Now I've been using the Zody Luxe for 30 days and I'm excited to share what I've learned. The original Zody Classic was unfortunately a chair that I could just never find myself getting into a comfortable position. The slightly reclined position that they put you in or the alternative forward seat tilt feature just weren't conducive to a comfortable working position for me. When I first sat in the Zody Luxe, I was pleasantly surprised to find that they had made a significant change here to a more neutral seated position. This is something I believe would be better for most of us. Now, the second thing that really stood out to me about the Luxe was just how beautiful the chair was. The chairs at the trade show and the color combination that we have here in our office, Canyon with the aluminum base, are top notch. Now, this version of the Luxe comes with a hefty price tag, and to be honest, not all of the options included on my chair are necessary, which is something we'll talk about more later on. The entry-level Luxe comes in at around $1,000, with the fully loaded model that I have at just over $1,600. Now at these prices, having a build quality to match the price is important. The Luxe, in my opinion, hits the mark with regards to high build quality and even exceeds the price tag when compared to some of the other chairs I've tested around this price range. First of all, it's heavy. I mean, there is a lot of substance with it, and it feels like it's built like a tank. My Luxe features aluminum throughout, including the base, lower back, and armrest support tubes. The entry-level Luxe swaps the aluminum base for a less expensive nylon plastic base, but still uses aluminum in all the other areas. Looking closer at the polished aluminum and plastic molds throughout the Luxe, I'm impressed with the attention to detail. The quality of each of these areas is definitely what you'd expect from a high-end chair. The only real miss for me is within the support tubes of the armrest. The white frame makes it easy for rub marks and any excess dirt or grease to show. If you plan to have these extended fully or worry about this sort of thing, you could definitely look at the black frame, but the base is plastic. The armrests on the new Zody are some of the best that I've used, and they remind me a lot of the Steelcase 4-way arms with some slight differences that will still, in my opinion, give Steelcase a bit of an edge here. The pads themselves are nice. They have a softness to them that allows you to really dig your elbows in when leaning into either armrest, but also have a durable coating over the top that was clearly designed to help the arm pads hold up better over long-term use. The actual shape and lines of the pads are nice as well, eliminating any annoying hard edges. My two minor complaints with the arms on the Zody LX is that they don't seem to have as much freedom with the range of adjustments as the Steelcase line, and they also don't feel quite as solid. The feel of the arms isn't as easy to show in the video, but how they adjust is. Because of how the arm pads click into place versus using friction to hold them into place, you are limited to those specific adjustments. Now this could be better long term since we do see the Steelcase arms loosen a bit over time, but I do prefer the trade-off with more of a customization because on the Steelcase line you can adjust them anywhere within the range. I vividly remember the first time sitting in the Luxe at NeoCon. When I sat in the chair, I almost had this immediate positive experience with the backrest. Using the Zody Classic before, it had hard edges around the back frame that had been one of the bigger drawbacks to that model for me. This new padded design in the Luxe eliminated this problem completely. Our Luxe also included a height-adjustable lumbar support system with it. Now, I really like the design of this, specifically from a purely aesthetic standpoint. When you look at the back, it really creates a unique look for the chair. From a usability standpoint, I also believe it makes the adjustment portion quite easy while seated in the chair to reach around and make the adjustment. My biggest issue with the Luxe backrest, though, is from its firm padded design that doesn't allow you to necessarily sink back in the chair to get proper upper support. It has almost a slight recline in it still, not quite as much as the original Classic, but has a slight recline that doesn't allow me to get good upper back support. I tend to lean forward when typing as well, so I really do prefer having an aggressive lower lumbar support. The Luxe does not have this. In fact, with that lumbar add-on, I really don't even feel like it does much for me. So much so that I'd probably just avoid paying extra for it since you really can't feel it in the backrest. Now, I noticed during my longer stretches at the computer, my back would really start to get tired from missing adequate lower support for me. The experience with the CPad on the Zody Luxe has been really quite enjoyable for me. Now, I personally prefer a bit more firm of a seat pad, but still need to have enough give in it to prevent that soreness in my tailbone region. While I think the original CPad on the Zody Classic was comfortable, I just think it was a bit too squishy for my preference. The Zody Luxe is more similar to the Fern CPad, which is just the right amount of softness and firmness to allow me to work long hours without pain. I also found that the CPad is nice and wide without any hard edges that become uncomfortable after longer sitting periods. Now, even with that wider CPad, the arm pads do adjust inward some to help accommodate for more narrower frames. If you're really small, this might be a bit too large for you, but I still think the seat is versatile enough to fit most users well. One thing I wish that the Zody Luxe had within the seat was a bit more flexibility in the actual seat pan. The rigidness of the seat doesn't allow for as much movement throughout the day, and this is one of the reasons that I really do enjoy the Leap and Amiya chairs so much. One of the ways that I tried to adjust how I sat to improve my lower support was to engage the forward tilt function. While this definitely helps to bring the backrest up through my entire back, forward tilt is never really something I've been able to do for longer stretches of time. That is until I started to use the unique perch function on the Luxe. I realized after I started to use this feature, the reason I didn't like previous versions of a forward tilt was the height of the seat. When I extended the Luxe up to max height, I was able to use my pogo footrest, and this provides a bit more flexibility with how I sit. The ability to move my feet around and not require them to be flat on the floor to prevent falling out of the chair is just more comfortable for me. I ended up using this feature on the chair a lot to accommodate for that lack of lower support, and is something that I did end up enjoying a lot with the Luxe. In the end, if you're interested in the Zody series, I'd probably recommend just the Zody 2 with a digital knit backrest, or possibly even look at the Fern, which is my favorite from the Haworth lineup. Thanks a lot for watching.